and then take a pencil or something to mark it, and mark a notch on the other side. So this is the mark to tell you where to stop sewing the zipper. Okay? So I'm going to start off by overlocking it. Million, could you be a dear? Could you put these back in the box that says black thread? Nope. Nope, you only overlock the middle. The reason being is that if something is manufactured properly, when the seam allowance is open like this, the overlock should cross both edges. You shouldn't have like overlock, overlock, and then going together. That's not proper manufacturing. Okay. So we just do the inside. I know sometimes the students do that in school because it's kind of a lazy thing to do. Then you don't have to go to the overlock twice, but it's not really proper.
I don't quite understand what the shortcut is.
It means you don't have to go to the overlock twice.
I don't understand what they would think of.
Well, what they do is overlock around the whole piece.
Oh, okay.
Just want to make sure I got the right foot because last time it gave me some trouble. I think it's this one. Whoops. Thank you. So you're going to need a couple of different feet. This is probably the first time that we're going to change feet. This is not the only way to do an invisible zipper. This is one way. This is the way I do it. So this is an invisible zipper foot. Sometimes if you're working in a factory and you ask for an invisible zipper foot, they'll give you this. You can do it with this, but this is not actually an invisible zipper foot. This is a regular zipper foot. Okay? So I teach how to do it with the proper zipper foot. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the foot to this little square one with these two channels in it. Two little, I don't know, what do you call it, tunnels. And an invisible zipper is called such because when you have the seam allowance together like this, it goes in between and you don't see it. It's invisible. So I'm going to start off by opening this zipper and I'm going to flip it over upside down and start sewing on the left. The other thing I want to do is I want to bring my needle down so I can pull the thread through the top. It'll just make my beginning stitches a little bit neater. The other thing I want to do is I want to identify where the stopper is. So right here you have this little plastic doohickey. This is called a stopper. So from the stopper, I'm going to need 1 centimeter seam allowance because later on I might add a waistband or some other kind of something on there. So I need a seam allowance, plus I need a little bit of extra so I can pull up the eaves, or pull up the zipper head. So from the top of the zipper tape, I'm going to measure up 1.3. Okay? Now the reason, and students will ask me this all the time, Paula, how much do I measure down? We're not measuring down. The reason is that every time you buy a new zipper, this amount of tape that's left here can be different. On one zipper, it can be 2 centimeters. On the other one, it can be 1.5. So don't measure, never count on measuring down. Always measure from the top of the stopper up. So once I have that worked out, my zipper tape is 1 centimeter wide, so I can just line it up to the edge of the fabric where its 1 centimeter seam allowance is, like this. And this one has like a little lip, just something like the lip on your mouth, where I can pull it down. So I need to sort of use my finger. Oh yeah, plus some electricity would be helpful. I need to pull it first open a little bit with my finger, and then I do a little back tack. And once I get past the stopper, then the foot should actually sort of push this open by itself. See the way it rides in the channel? Madison, you might want to look at it from this angle.
Oh, I understand. I
Okay.
have done zippers before. It's just been a long time.
Okay. Some people have never done this particular type of zipper. We're going to do a few different kinds of zippers. So you just sew along until you reach your notch or the bottom of the zipper, whichever. Okay. So when I'm sewing it, I also need to make sure that I hold the fabric and the zipper together, because otherwise what will happen is the feed dog will eat it at a different rate than the other one, and you'll get like sort of a puffiness here. It'll basically eat the fabric in smaller than the zipper. So after you've sewn it, check and make sure that it's flat. Okay, so mine is flat. Now I'm going to do the second part. And on the second part, I'm just going to put them together, and I'm just going to flip this one over and make sure that the zipper stop is equal at the top. And now I'm going to put the zipper into the zipper chain into the other channel. So the first one I start on the left channel, and the second one I'm doing the right channel. And then I just help it with my finger here to get past the stopper. And then once I get down here, I hold the tape and the fabric together equally so that I'm distributing it into the machine equally. And stop and pull out. Some people do this type of zipper differently than I do. There are a few different ways to do it, and it works out to be the same thing. Some people close this one first and then put it in. But is that how you do it?
Yeah.
I do it differently. Try my way. It's always good to try something new. Okay? So once I close this, I check and see if it's actually invisible. So it looks like there's a little bit of a gap here, and it's kind of a tricky thing. You want to get close enough to cover it, but not so close that you can't actually pull the zipper up and down. So it looks like in this case that I could get a little bit closer. So I'm going to go a second time. I'm going to do a second pass. Yeah, I can see here where I'll just pull my finger back, pull the lip back with my finger, and then I can get a little bit closer to the zipper coil. This plastic part is actually nylon, but this part is called the zipper coil, and this part is called the zipper tape. So again, I do the other side, getting a little bit closer. Yeah, here, exactly. If you get too close, then the zipper won't go up. I think I just have one stitch that went too far. Why? Don't look. We're looking at that you don't want to see. This is better now. Okay, so you're always going to have a little bit of a gap if you pull it open, but what it should be is that when you just kind of press your fingers along it like that and the fabric is relaxed, the two parts should come together and meet, right? You don't want to do it like that and then you see a big gap in between there. Then do it a second time. And I only had a problem with my left one. My right one was fine. So you need to adjust each one individually. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the bottom. So I need to get my zipper foot, the one that's going to allow me to get the closest to where I want to sew.